Good evening. Welcome to the Falls Township Board of Supervisors meeting, Monday, September 23rd. We'll begin with this salute to the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Galloway, can you call the roll?
Yes. Jeff BORASKI. John Palmer.
Here.
ERIN MULLEN.
Here.
Jeff DENCE.
Here.
Of course, I'm here. Thank you.
All right. Before we get started tonight, we have a brief presentation from Birdtown, Pennsylvania.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Congratulations on reinvigorating your Birdtown program. And I have here your Birdtown committee here. Jairus and John are here. They've been working really hard for you on behalf of Falls Township. I just want to take a moment to tell you a little bit more about the program. It's, there's been some changes in the last few years. We're super excited about having the program reinvigorated. So I'll just take about 5 minutes of your time. I know you're very busy. So next slide, please. Oh, actually, that would be me. So our mission, I always like to start with that. Birdtown, Pennsylvania works in partnership with local municipalities like yourselves and like-minded organizations to promote community-based conservation actions to create a healthier, more sustainable environment for birds, wildlife, and people. The program has been really growing. We're actively been engaging with municipalities in the state for over 14 years now, and there are 69 programs across 12 counties. We're under the umbrella of the PA Audubon Council, and we're partnering with various conservation groups, including We Conserve PA, which runs the EAC network for the state, Audubon chapters, and Bird City Network. Bird City Network is across the country and internationally, and we're actually the second largest program in the country. These are all the 69 towns in the 12 counties. You can see Falls Township is highlighted here in Bucks County. There are 13 bird towns in Bucks County. So I'm not going to go through this entire list, but birds are super important. This is why we're focusing on them. They help keep our ecosystems running smoothly. They eat tons of insects. They help keep diseases down, such as rabies, distemper, and plague. They disperse seeds and so on and provide important pollination services. And they also keep in check our mice and rat populations. They bring us joy. They let us know the environment is healthy, but they especially need our help. Their populations have really been declining anywhere from 36 to 77% since 1970, and unfortunately the numbers are still dropping. These are the major threats to bird populations, especially loss of habitat. Cats, 2.4 billion birds a year are killed by cats. Window collisions, pesticides, climate change, invasive species, and plastics are all threats to bird populations. So through Birdtown, Pennsylvania, we address these issues through engagement, education, encouragement, support, inspiration, and promoting awareness. These are the many things that John and Jairus are working here on Falls Township, and they'll be choosing what makes most sense for your municipality. So these are some things that are new with Birdtown in the last few years. We've improved communications with 2 different newsletters. We have a new logo and street signs. We hold regular regional clutch meetings. Here for Bucks County on December 9th, we'll be having a clutch meeting and talking about what's been going on in Bucks County and what we can work together on a regional level. We also hold workshops and annual meetings and so on. These are the different newsletters I mentioned, the Birdtown Flyer, and then also the Bird Beat, and we also have a private Facebook page. This is our beautiful new website, which is rich with resources, the list of our Birdtown programs and conservation partners, and there's a special back page just for our Birdtown leaders with contact lists and so on. This is the regional networking that I was mentioning. These are all the different clutches that we call them. And like I mentioned, on December 7th, actually, not the 9th, we'll be meeting at Bucks County Audubon to have that meeting. These are the 5 strategy areas that the program works under. And this is the different levels of the program. So I believe Falls Township right now is at bronze. So hopefully we'll be moving up to the silver or gold level as it makes sense. And this is the strategies and goals and activities worksheet that they're using for inspiration and guidance for the different activities that they're doing. This is a banner that we bought this past year with some extra funding that we received during the Valentine's donation drive. So it really would be wonderful to have it here in Falls Township or in Middletown Township to be displayed to inform more folks about window collisions. So thank you for your work here in Falls Township. A special thank you to John and Jairus for all the work they're doing, and thank you for supporting Birdtown.
Thank you. Nice presentation. If you send us your information, we can put it on our website and social media too.
Okay, fantastic. I'll do that. And do any of you have any questions about the program?
No, I think we started a few years ago. I remember we put the signs up in the parking lot, and I see them, but yeah.
Okay, good, excellent.
I
So I
told
have,
Mr. Galloway, I think it was sometime right after I turned 50, I suddenly started putting bird feeders in my backyard, a couple of bird houses and binoculars. Now I'm the brunt of many jokes, and I'm at war with squirrels.
oh, well, that's
I
good,
don't
thank
really
you.
know different types of birds, but I just watched them.
Oh, well, that's great. Thank you for that. I appreciate your support. Well, listen, I'd like to pull you up forward so we could take a photo with you with the new sign.
Sure.
But I have a question also.
Oh, sure.
Before we go there.
Of course.
I did see you partnered up in your slide there with the school districts and whatnot. How do you partner up with Pennsbury School District? Is there just a visit? Do you have an elective program where they participate?
There is actually, so it really depends on the relationship that you have with the school district already. It's really up to each township or municipality to form that relationship. But really just giving a call to the principal, letting them know that Falls Township is a bird town and that you have some interest, in bringing more information about birds to the children of the school. There is a wonderful program called Audubon Adventures that's created by National Audubon. It's about, I guess, maybe $35, $40 for a packet for $35. That gives amazing information that a teacher can use for their curriculum. So it's really good to meet with the teachers, see what they're focusing on for curriculum, see if this program makes sense. There are other programs too through Cornell that you can also look at. But I would really call that, the school district engage with one of the teachers that makes sense. It could be any age, elementary or high school. I know at Garrett, down in Concord area, they have a high school student, Ethan Kong. He started a birding club, and he has 40 members of his birding club for a high school, which I think is just incredible. So he has an amazing website that explains how to create a club. But I'm sure we can engage with him, encourage him to come and visit a school if you guys have any interest in creating something like that.
Yeah, I know Cornell runs great programs. I subscribe to that.
Oh, good, great.
But I haven't got my binoculars yet, and I'm not watching them yet.
You definitely need some binoculars, it helps. But it's a great question. If you guys want more information, I'm happy to work with you.
Yeah, and when you send it to the township, your PowerPoint presentation, send it to the board members also, please.
Okay, sure. If you guys could help me with that, that'd be great. Sure. Okay, great. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you.
Going down.
Also for you too. Those are the claims that go in the window once the building is filled, and also the library.
Guys. All right, that takes us to item number 1. Mr. Clark, you can comment on our executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Dents. The board held an executive session on September 10th, 2024, after its last meeting. The purpose of the executive session was to meet with one of the township professionals to receive information from that professional. No deliberations took place and no votes were cast. The board held an executive session prior to the start of this meeting to discuss 2 separate collective bargaining agreements, a personnel matter, a matter of potential litigation, and a matter of litigation.
Thank you. That takes us to public comment. Any hands for public comment? Okay.
Good evening. Todd Vreeland from Levittown Fairless Hill Rescue Squad again. Just giving you your monthly update. So in Falls Township, in August, there was 310 calls for 911 for ambulance service. Of those, Levittown Rescue Squad responded to 87% of them. And the top three reasons we were called were ALS respiratory, BLS emergency transport, and ALS chest pain. Again, any questions you have, either board members or people from the township, just give us a call, and we'd be glad to answer them. Or if you have any questions now, I'd be glad to answer them.
I definitely have a question for you. When you have all your calls and you typically respond to our local hospitals, do you find the one in our community up there by Delaware, what is it called now? Not Delaware Valley.
It's I forget it too. There's been so many different names. It's
Jefferson.
Jefferson Bucks Hospital, Bucks Campus, yes.
Now, I'm getting some concerns and complaints from people that it's 8 hours in the emergency room. They're diverting ambulances constantly, daily. They don't have enough bed space. They're actually taking people upstairs and leaving them in the emergency room. Do you have that data also, or am I talking to the
So
wrong person?
diversion, Bucks County doesn't currently honor a diversion status anymore unless there's either a service is down, like if the CAT scanner's broken, they'll say we're down, so they don't want to get strokes or heart attacks because they can't put them in the CAT scanner, which is a very good diagnostic tool. But they don't just go because they're busy. The Bucks County EHS office doesn't allow that anymore. And Pennsylvania's trying to figure out common verbiage because everywhere you go, being on divert means something different. So they're trying to figure that out. But it's not just a Jefferson Bucks issue. It's a hospitals in general issue. If you go to any of the hospitals in Bucks County, Montgomery County, Philadelphia County, you're going to experience the same thing at times where there's not available beds, and you're going to see, extensive times in the waiting room. So it's not just a local, it's a system problem. So the fact that people are waiting a long time to be seen is probably a true statement, because we
Thank you
do
so
see
much.
that, yeah, unfortunately.
Thank you. Any other hands for public comment? There's no one here. All right, that takes us to item number 3, MY Lane LLC, preliminary and final land development. This was tabled last month, and now we're ready to move forward.
Scroll down. Well, yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Good evening, Mike McGinnis from Begley Carlin, here on behalf of the applicant MY Lane 1 LLC. I have Heath Dumack with me to my left and Mike DiNardo behind me, who's the principal and the owner of the property. Mike purchased the property back in 2022 along with 80 MY Lane, which is the catering hall in the township, so he owns and operates both. And the supervisors may recall, just as a brief bit of background, that Mike appeared, I guess, close to 2 years ago in front of the supervisors to discuss this proposed use. After he appeared and got comments from the township and purchased the property, he authorized Heath to put together a sketch application, which was sent in. We then went to the zoning hearing board and received a couple variances, went to the planning commission a few months ago and received recommended approval for our development. That development pertains to the property which is before you. It is at the intersection of Route 1 and Route 13. It is just over 4 acres, about 4¼ acres, and is zoned in the LI district. We are proposing a phased development for what we call a biochar operation. And I'm going to just give a minute of background, my understanding of what that is, just because I didn't know what that was before Mike and I talked about this. But phase 2 of that development proposes construction of approximately 20,000 square foot building, which would add 5 to 7 employees in the township. This is not a mulch operation. It is a way to deal with green waste. It's compatible with Mike's existing business that he operates, Shades of Green, which is very active in Lower Bucks County. Mike is a certified arborist who is familiar with the entire industry, and biochar and what's being proposed is essentially a green energy solution which allows for the burning of up to 15 tons of wood and landscape an hour. It's an alternative to taking a lot of waste like this to a landfill and making productive use of it. This process, at the end of it, creates what I believe is labeled clean carbon ash, which then can be used to supplement soils and populate things like rain gardens for development, which is going on in the region. This utilizes something called air burner equipment, which again, I think Mike highlighted briefly when he was here before, but FEMA has designated this technology as the best available control technology for disaster cleanup. It's been tested by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the U.S. Forest Service, DEP, and the Armed Forces. Mike and Heath have been working with the township and fire department to make sure that everything's being done safely, and again, both of them can add a little additional context if that's necessary for the supervisors. The septic has been tested and meets the requirements. There is no noise, no smoke, no nuisance with the operation. And just one other quick item, because it relates to one of the waivers that we're requesting. There are woodlands on site, but they're really confined to a very small portion of the site that Heath is depicting and pointing to with the laser pointer. A lot of that area is brush. We are clearing that, which would be required for any development here, but we are keeping what is a visual buffer along the road frontage. So even though there is a percentage of woodlands that are being disturbed, it's not as if we're clear cutting 4 acres of land. We think this is an appropriate use for the site. It's been vacant for a number of years, even though there's a pretty heavy impervious surface percentage. We are going to be improving the stormwater runoff from this site onto adjacent properties with the system that we're implementing. And again, Mike, obviously, even more than most developers, has an incentive to run this operation correctly and appropriately, given that he is the landlord for the adjacent property and will be maintaining ownership of that property. So again, because this is a bit of a unique operation, I am more than happy to have Mike come up and provide additional context or color to what they'll be doing here, or Heath can go through the site plan, or we can address any waivers or questions that the board has. I appreciate it.
Mr. Clark, any questions or concerns?
No, we've reviewed this project and had multiple conversations with Mr. McGinnis. This all seemed pretty straightforward.
Mr. Jones?
No comments.
I know when we saw, there was a lot of concern, some concern, when people saw the percentage of woodlands as 85%, but when you look at the area, how big of an area is that, Mr. Dumack? Would you describe it?
Approximately a couple of Levittowners.
All right. So it's only not even a dozen trees at the end of the day. Any other questions from board members? Mr. Galloway?
No.
Ms. Mullen?
Mr. Donardo, I just wanted to say that we're really excited about this coming to the township, and it's pretty ironic that you're doing such a green process, and we were concerned about the woodlands. And I thank you all for your cooperation on that. I'll just out myself and say I was concerned about
Thanks for
the
having me.
80%,
Appreciate it.
80-some percent. And I'm happy with your willingness to do whatever we had asked, but obviously all feeling a little silly that it's just that tiny area.
Great. Well, thank you for having me back, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Mr. Palmer?
Yeah, I have kind of the fire marshal's comments in my head. Can you guys talk about the public water, your septic line? You don't have sewer there either.
Certainly. There is no public water in the immediate vicinity. What we are proposing is a 20,000-gallon plus fire protection tank, which will be part of the approved design, and that will be used to distribute water based on the requirements of the fire marshal, standpipes or hydrants, depending on where they are all around the perimeter of the property.
Rich, are you okay with that? With the Got your pointer? We met about a week or two ago and discussed this, and the PE that they have, the fire professional, is well-respected, and he's still designing it to my knowledge, right? He comes back with everything that, you know, Heath is saying is needed, I'll be satisfied.
Any public comment needed? No hands. And this is Resolution 2024-26. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Good evening. Thank you.
Item number 4, consider adopting resolution establishing the 2025 minimum municipal obligation MMO for the police pension plan. Mr. Clark?
This is Ms. Rukoff, and I think the next 4 or 5 items are Ms. Rukoff.
All right.
They are. Can I do one intro for the next three items, as long as they vote on them separately?
I think you can go over the 3 MMOs together, but they do need to be voted on separately.
Okay. Good evening. Act 205 requires that the minimum municipal obligations to the township pension plans for the following year be certified to the Board of Supervisors by the last business day in September. The calculation of the MMOs relies on several assumptions related to projected payroll and interest. The MMOs are designed for budgetary purposes, and these figures will be used as projections in the 2025 budget. Therefore, at this time, the board is asked to consider adopting a resolution establishing the 2025 minimum municipal obligation for the police pension plan in the amount of $3,337,797.
Are we doing them one at a time?
You
They
do one
need
at
to
a
be
time.
voted on
Okay,
one at
any
a time.
questions for Ms. Rukoff?
No.
No.
Any public comment needed? This is Resolution 2024-27. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5, resolution establishing the minimum MMO for the non-uniform pension plan.
Right, and that is in the amount of $7,440.
All right, any questions for Ms. Rukoff?
No.
Any public comment? No. This is Resolution 2024-28. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item number 6, consider adopting resolution establishing the minimum municipal obligation MMO for the PMRS pension plan.
Correct, that is in the amount of $203,231.
Any questions?
No.
None. No public comment. Is there a motion? This is 2024-29.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mrs. Rukoff.
I've got 2 more items.
2 more? Okay, keep going. Item 7, consider authorization for the advertisement for audit of the 2024 financial records.
Per the second-class township code, the township must advertise its intent to appoint a certified public accounting firm 30 days prior to the appointment of that firm to conduct an audit of the township's accounts. So I'm asking for authorization for advertisement
Yep.
for the audit.
Any questions or comments?
No.
No public comment hands? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 8, consider authorization request for proposals for auditor appointment for the 2024 fiscal audit.
The township has completed the 3rd year of a 3-year bid to audit the financials of the township. So at this time, I propose to send out requests for proposals to various local CPA firms. I'm asking the board to consider authorizing the RFPs for auditor for the appointment for the 2024 fiscal audit.
Any questions from board members?
No.
No question.
Just, my only question is this the same RFP that's gone out the last couple of years?
Yes, yes, it's been updated if there were any new pronouncements from the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, but other than that, it is the same RFP.
Okay, thanks, Betsy.
Any public comment? No hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 9 has been scratched from our agenda. Item 10, consider change order number 8 for Rycon Construction.
Board is being asked to consider change order in the amount of $115,932.10 for work on the construction of the new building, and these are for unforeseen conditions.
Any, Mr. Galloway, any questions?
No, no questions.
Ms. Mullen?
Just, Mr. Chair, I'd like to renew my request that with yet another change order, we have a presentation from Grace Construction outlining generally all the issues that we encountered that are calling for all of these change orders.
Okay.
I can do that. And I guess to follow up with that, Ms. Mullen, this request is still within the allowances that were discussed with the board as a whole. This is just, we've moved into that portion, but I will have.
Understood, thank you.
Mr. Palmer?
No.
I have none. Is there any public comment needed? See no hands. Is there a motion to approve change order number 10?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
This is
John Palmer.
change order number 8.
Change order number
I
8.
apologize.
John Palmer.
Yes.
Erin Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I vote yes.
All right. Item 11, consideration of adopting ordinance for Chapter 203, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Parking Regulations, Section 22, Parking Prohibited at All Times, Subsection C, and Chapter 203, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Parking Regulations, Section 23, Parking Prohibited During Certain Hours, Subsection A. I'm going to skip Mr. Clark and go right to Ms. Gallagher because I know that she worked on this.
Thank you, Mr. Dents.
He's watching the Phillies game, I guess.
As set forth in the ordinance, this will remove parking restrictions on the east side of Vermillion Way from Trenton Road to Vermont Lane, and the west-south side of Vermillion Way from Trenton Road to a point 300 feet south thereof. And will also remove numerous parking restrictions on Barberry Lane, Buttonwood Drive, Blue Spruce Lane, Briarroot Lane, Black Pine Lane, Upper Bird Drive. We've put this together in consultation with the police department, who has reviewed this and agreed to the removal of all these parking restrictions.
All right, any questions from Ms. Gallagher? Mr. Galloway?
No, I just know that Vermillion Way thing it's a long time coming. That's forever.
Did we receive any community response to the advertisement?
I don't believe we did, Mr. Tequita.
We
sorry,
did
repeat the question.
receive someone that was interested in us making this change and asked us what was taking so long, I believe.
And I missed the question.
The question was, did we receive any response to the advertisement for the change in this ordinance?
No.
Thank you.
No, aside from what Mr. Dents had mentioned, that was prior to the advertisement.
And nobody's here tonight for the change?
And there's one typo in that it should be Buttonwood Lane, not Buttonwood Avenue.
So we would recommend that the ordinance be adopted with that minor change. It does not require re-advertisement.
They're changing the whole ordinance. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any public comment needed? Is there a motion for ordinance 2024-3?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 12, consider ratifying purchase from the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society for the 2024 fall bare root trees. This is something we do every year. We buy a bunch of trees, we plant a bunch of trees in the park in various locations, right? This is $1,500 for 20 trees. Any questions from board members?
No.
No.
Great program.
Any public comment needed? No. Is there a motion to buy the 20 trees?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
John Palmer,
Yes.
Aaron Mullen,
Yes.
Jeff Dance,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Item 21, minutes from August 26th. Any corrections needed or comments on the minutes? Excellent minutes as always, Mrs. Pullen. None?
No, that's right.
None.
Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
That takes us to the engineer's report, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Presented tonight is the engineer's report that shows that we had one new land development application submitted in the month of August, as well as one new earth disturbance application. In terms of the highlights on the ongoing projects, they're identified in red on the report. I'll touch on a few of them. On the land development side, the Milex Properties is near completion. Britain Industries, MY Lane, is likely to be before the board next month or the month after. That's the former junkyard across the street, MY Lane, from their main facility. They seek approval for a paved area and some lease areas for storage. The Lincoln Storage Project is complete. The North Point Phase 2, Buildings 4, 5, and 6. They're working on finishing touches for Buildings 5 and 6, and Building 4 has not started. LPC Morrisville, that's the warehouse on Pennsylvania Avenue along the river that is operating under site drainage and other infrastructure improvements. That's going to be ongoing for quite some time. The Morton Salt Project, they're working on punch list items nearing completion. And the Pennsbury School District, that's the Falcon Field improvements. They're working on the concession stand and the athletic training facility lockers, I believe. The Pennsbury Plaza project is on because there's an escrow release tonight. That project has been complete for some time. Our office confirmed that improvements in Falls Township are built in accordance with the plans and regulations. Gillespie Phase 3 on Steel Road, site work, building construction on the maintenance or on the manufacturing building continues. North Point Area 3, Building 20, that's the Dean Severs project. And that project is working on site work infrastructure, drainage, stormwater management facilities, and utilities. And we heard tonight about the DiNardo project on MY Lane. For the earth disturbances in the middle column, the Calamar Properties project is finishing up. Apparently the contractor went slightly outside the limited disturbance and they're restoring those areas, and that project will be complete soon. The residential project number 9 has been completed, and the Old Tyburn Road project has just started. The two following, the Dora residence and the Bohas residence, are both complete. In the third column, the Riverside Industrial Complex, Inc. is complete. Waste Management Properties, that's the gas pipeline that is in support of the renewable natural gas facility, is under construction with utility piping. The residence below is complete, as well as the next residence below is complete. The North Point NP Falls Township Industrial, that's rail car overhangs at Kinder Morgan, and that's simply to keep the rail car unloading out of the weather. That's underway. It shouldn't take very long to complete that project. And the Commons at Fallsington is under review. The Commons at Fallsington decided to build some retaining walls without permits. Subsequent to that, we've inspected it, and they've submitted permit applications, and we're reviewing them now. For the ongoing township projects, the South Olds Boulevard culvert, the manager forwarded me an email recently that he received from the DVRPC suggesting that we put this project on PennDOT's capital budget program, and if we do that, we'd be eligible potentially for an 80% reimbursement under that program. So timely, we received authorization to advertise last month or maybe the month before. And so what we intend to do is contact the PennDOT inspection department and see if we can, since we've shifted the lane and everybody is comfortable that the culvert is not in any imminent danger of failure, that maybe we can put a hold on that and see if the grant opportunity is viable. I think once we're on the PennDOT capital budget, it'd be a year or two before we'd actually be able to utilize the grant or the reimbursement program. So we think it's worthwhile. I'll follow up with PennDOT to see if, it's their program, so I imagine they'd be comfortable with us leaving the bridge the way it is with the lane adjustment, monitoring, weekly to make sure that it doesn't fall into any more disrepair and see if we can't get the 80% reimbursement. The 21-23 road program, ripe for that is the Pinewood Drive. That the contractor is still finishing the punch list items for that, upon which they will submit for us the maintenance bond, which will last 24 months, and at that time, we'll forward a final invoice to the township. Township building drainage improvements in terms of what we're overseeing, site lighting, ongoing site work construction. The Vermilion Hills Footbridge project, we have the signed contract. We contacted the contractor. We're going to have a pre-construction meeting, if not tomorrow, Thursday. It did come to my attention that the contractor removed the bridge and put it in his shop for refurbishing. So the bridge was removed. It was premature. We didn't realize that they had done that. We explained to them that obviously we need to have a pre-construction meeting first, but they're not doing anything, and we're going to meet with them probably on Thursday to review the scope of the job, make sure that they're aware that there's going to be some volunteer component to it, most likely after they're done, to avoid any kind of insurance type issues. But we think we're going to ask them to leave behind planting beds and possibly the dedication plaque so that there can be a little bit of volunteer work done and then some sort of ground or ribbon cutting type ceremony. So that's a work in progress, but it has come to fruition, and they're going to start this week. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but that's my report.
Any questions from board members? Mr. Galloway? Mr. Palmer?
I have one question. People asked about the gate going back into North Point. Is that ever coming down so pedestrians, or not pedestrians, traffic can go through there freely, or is it always going to be gated?
I believe their intention is to remove the gates once the project is complete.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll confirm that, Mr. Palmer, and get back to you, but I'm certain that they don't want, I don't believe they want any gates.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jones. That takes us to item 23, bill list. We have a bill list in the amount of $3,955,280.62. Almost 1.5 of that is payroll. 2.5 million is, a lot of construction stuff for the building, engineering services. Any questions on the comments on the bill list from board members?
No.
None? Mr.
No
Palmer?
comment.
I have none. Is there any public comment needed?
Again, it would be nice to have this as part of the website, because we now have a data port on there.
We have what?
A data port. And it would just be nice to have someplace on that site to go to see what the bills are.
Can it just be emailed to you? Is that easier?
Well, I'm kind of thinking maybe some of the other residents might want to see it just because they don't come to the meeting.
You're the only ones who ever expressed interest, but
Okay.
how difficult is it to put it on the website, Mr. Takita?
I'm not sure, but I'll find out.
We'll follow up on
And one other quick question, because somebody asked about it. How much did the fireworks cost? That very loud display that we
it.
had.
It was a great display.
I understand it was, just curious.
Go ahead.
But it was on another website to somebody we asked how much it costs.
11,000? Yeah. Now, that was paid for by the Touch a Truck event? Or no, did we budget for that? It's budgeted. That's it? Is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Second.
Can you pull the board?
John Palmer.
Yes.
Erin Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I vote yes.
We have a bill list for Obermeyer, Reedman, Maxwell, and Hippel for $4,636. Any questions on this bill list?
No.
Any public comment on this one? Is there a motion to pay this bill?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
John Palmer.
Yes.
Erin Mullen.
Yes.
Jeff Dance.
Yes.
I vote yes.
We have one for Campbell Durant in the amount of $18,602.63. Any questions or comments?
No.
None? Any public comment? I see no hands. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
John Palmer?
Yes.
Aaron Mullen?
Yes.
Jeff Dance?
Yes.
I vote yes.
We have a bill list for Jones Engineering Associates in the amount of $198,445.75. Any questions or comments on this bill?
None.
Anyone? Any public comment? See no hands. Is there a motion to pay this bill?
So moved.
Second.
Can you pull the board, Mr. Galloway?
John Palmer?
Yes.
Aaron Mullen?
Yes.
Jeff Dance?
Abstain.
I vote yes.
Item number 27, consideration of escrow releases. We have ARD Pensbury at on Plaza Boulevard for $178,809.43. MLH 150 Roebling on Solar Drive for $849,927.10. Any questions or comments on these escrow releases?
No?
None?
No.
None. Any public comment needed? No. Is there a motion to release these escrows?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Mr. Galloway, can you pull the board?
John Palmer?
Yes.
Aaron Mullen?
Yes.
Jeff Dance?
Yes.
I vote yes.
That takes us to manager comment.
The shredder event that was scheduled for October has been canceled. When it's will be rescheduled in 2020, spring of 2025. The second item I have is the medication take-back. It is scheduled for October 26th from 10 to 2 at Pennsbury High School, 705 Hood Boulevard. Additional information will be on the township website and social media.
All right. If it's the board comment, Mr. Palmer.
No comment.
Ms. Mullen?
Yeah, I just wanted to compliment the township staff on the events this weekend, the Family Festival and the Touch a Truck event. Both really nice, very well-attended events, and also thanks to Jeff BORASKI for all his efforts with the Touch a Truck event and really both, and the Family Festival and the committee that meets year-round to get that going. They've raised $30,000. So, good for them.
Mr. Galloway?
No comment.
I'm just going to echo what Ms. Mullen said and congratulate Mr. Boraski and thank everyone for all their work. It was a great event. I was there Friday night. It was a great turnout. Weather held out, a little drizzly for a few minutes there. Got a little nervous, but it worked out well. And then Saturday was a perfect day. It's pretty cool when you're down there and you see these little kids get so excited about these trucks. And the most simple truck, there was one little boy who was just so excited to stand on the plow of a truck and get his picture taken. He couldn't contain himself shaking. He was so happy. So it's really cool. It's a great event. And that's all I have. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.